Hey, what's up, Fit Fam? Thank you so much for getting here today. We're gonna work on our shoulders. One of the best things you can do, either pre-workout or if you're just feeling stiffness, is foam rolling. And we're gonna get started with a foam roller, and then we're gonna work our way to a lacrosse ball. If you don't have a lacrosse ball, you can use a tennis ball. But the goal is to work out this muscle tissue and break it down, much like a masseuse would give you a massage, and get into your back, your glutes, your calves, your feet, and break down the tissue so that we lengthen the tissue, increase the blood flow, and get some release so that the joints, the muscles around those joints don't feel so tight. So that's what we're gonna do today. Let's get into it. Let's get it on the floor, and let's start with our upper back. And so you lay on your bum, and you try to get the roller across your mid back, right below your shoulder blades. And it's almost as if you're gonna get into a bridge, but you're not really giving that much effort in your bridge. Get your hands behind your head, support your head as if you're cradling it with your hands, so that way your neck doesn't work too hard. And then we just go up and down that spine. Now the challenge is going down the spine below shoulder blades, and you want to brace through your core so that you're not arching your lower back, and you don't want to go that far. You don't want to get into your lower lumbar. You want to keep it right around mid back, and then you can come up above the shoulder blades to about the base of the neck, and then work your way back down. And so you should feel that manipulation of the tissue in between your shoulder blades. And you should feel some pretty good adjustments there. You might hear some of your rib cage, the ribs kind of crack and adjust. That's okay. It's part of the massage that you're giving yourself here. And then the alternative now is you can drop your hips, take a little break, bring your hands, your arms across your chest, almost as if you're hugging yourself. And then we lift up again, and now we're rolling in that same area, but now we've opened up our back. We've widened our back so that you really can get in deep in between the shoulder blades, and you just try to work that area. Now, as you're working this area, you try to be mindful of any spots that are tender, because that's the spots that we're going to go to in a more targeted and specific way with a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball, depending on what you have. And so now from here, I'm going to brace my head with my left arm. I'm going to get my right arm out. Widen your feet and then rotate towards your right. So you're leaning heavy on your right side, the right side of your rib cage. And we go up and down, working out the lats, the latissimus dorsi. And you go up and down the side of the ribs. This one can be a little challenging and a little painful, but maybe do it 4 or 5 times if it's really that painful, and then you can just switch. But if you have a higher pain tolerance, and you can keep working through it, and then you can kind of settle into that corner armpit right there. So right in the corner of your armpit, we drop the hips, and now we really lean into that corner. And you want to go back and forth. Now we're just kind of exploring that area. It may feel a little tender, but you see that top arm, that right elbow is going over and behind that roller. And you should feel some knots, maybe not. If not, it's okay. And let's try the other side, and maybe it's the other side that's more bothersome for you. But we want to even out. So now the right hand behind your head, left arm out. Rotate to your left, and then we go up and down on that left side, working out that upper back. Again, hitting the left side of our lats. And depending on your pain tolerance, you keep working through that left side, and then you get into that corner, just like we did on the other side. And we go back and forth, working out the kinks. Okay, so now we transition. So hopefully you noticed some tender spots, because now you're gonna really get in there with the ball. So I have tightness on my right side, on my right shoulder blade. So that long part of our shoulder blade and the spine. We're trying to get in between those two areas. So the tissue in between your shoulder blade and the spine. We never want to roll on the bone, especially with the targeted lacrosse ball, because it's firm. So just be careful you get it right along the inside part of your ridge of the shoulder blade. I'm on the right side, so I'm going to bring my right arm across my belly, and I'm going to brace again with my left hand on my head, the back of my head, and my hips are down. My feet are wide just so I can kind of adjust and kind of rock. You see, I'm kind of doing a little bit of a side crunch, lateral flexion, bending into the right side of my hip, and I'm working that inside part of my shoulder blade. And you might get in there right away and feel some knots, some speed bumps. It may be painful, it may not be, but try to breathe through it. Now I have a high pain tolerance, so I'm able to go back and forth quite a bit, but oftentimes you can find your tender spot and then just rest on it for a moment. Let it kind of really sink in to that epicenter of that tight tissue area. And if you wanted an added challenge, without having to move your torso so much, you can just move your arm while you're on that epicenter of that tense tissue. And that movement sometimes can take it a little extra and give you a little relief as well. Sometimes that can hurt. Sometimes you might feel a tender spot in a certain area with your arm position. Just try to work it out and see what you can manage. And again, you're just trying to break down that tissue, and hopefully you have found a spot. So you just work that length. Sometimes it's the upper part of your shoulder blade, sometimes it's a little lower mid shoulder blade. You just kind of have to play with it and see where you're at. But hopefully, again, with the roller, you noticed where it was so that you can get right into it. Now I'm going to go to the other side. So now my left arm comes across my belly, right hand bracing on that head. And now again, working the length on the inside part of the shoulder blade, the scapula. And we just bending sideways, that lateral flexion. And I notice my right side is a lot tighter than my left, but I still have some tension there in my left shoulder, and that's okay. A lot of us tend to hold tension up there in our upper back or neck. So this is a great way to get some relief in the shoulders and to work out any kinks you have. And you might have to continually adjust. You might get up every now and again to kind of slide back, depending on how much room you have. Because you kind of shift and move along your workspace. And that's okay. We're just trying to get those kinks out again. And that's the idea, going back and forth or up and down that shoulder blade until you find that spot. And like I said, the left isn't as bad, but I still feel it. So it's always good to do both sides so you're even. So now on that corner armpit, just like we got on the roller, right on the corner, you're gonna place it there first, hold it there, and then we roll into it. So I'm on my right corner, and I extend my right arm out, and now we kind of have to shift a little, moving our body. You might have to go up and down, but you work that area. And now you can go a little bit behind that armpit, more towards your upper arm, towards your rear, the rear deltoid. And then once you get in there, you can just rest on it. And sometimes you feel deferred pain coming down the deltoid into your arm, and that's all right. You might not feel much, or you may find it right away. But again, explore. You have to kind of move around and put some pressure into it. And once you find it, you're there. Just rest on it, break it down, breathe through it. It can be pretty painful, it can be pretty tough. And now let's get the other side. And so now Again, your leg on your back, you set it up on the left side, the left part, or the left corner armpit, and then you keep it there, hold it there, move and lay on your left side, and from there, we roll. And again, you're manipulating your body so you can kind of move to the front and back, up and down a little, rock a little bit back and forth. Maybe get a little bit behind that armpit area. Again, you want to explore. And so I feel, my right side is tighter, but it's okay. There's a little tenderness on the left, but not as much as there is on the right. And so once you find a spot, you're there, and you hold on to it. And that's it, guys and girls. So that's a great way to loosen up your shoulders, get some relief in your upper back, especially if you hold a lot of tension there, or if you're just maybe overtraining a little bit, or perhaps you haven't been getting a good warm-up before your workouts and it's been leading to some pain during your workouts. So hopefully this will give you the relief you need before your session, so that you can move pain-free. That's why we roll, that's why we stretch, and we get a good warm-up so that we can move pain-free, have better mechanics, and reduce the risk of injury. So there you have it, ladies and gents. Thank you so much for getting here. I appreciate your time and effort. Hydrate, get a good, well-balanced meal, get some good quality sleep, and until next time, stay fit. Bye.